Okay, welcome back to my opinion. This little video is going to be about what's going on in Syria with the toppling of Bashar al-Assad's presidency, dictatorship, depending on how you look at it. The last 50 years, basically, it's been a monarchy. His father ruled Syria before him. Here's the thing that most people don't understand. Sure, we all know that Syria has been toppled. Bashar al-Assad is either dead, there's rumors he died in a plane crash, escaping, or he's somewhere in Russia or somewhere else, Switzerland, South America, who knows. But we do know one thing: he's out. It's over. His rule is gone. So what's next for Syria? Well, in my opinion, Syria is fucked. Syria is going to be another Iraq. Present-day Iraq. Not pre-Saddam Hussein Iraq. Post-Saddam Hussein Iraq. The people who, I forget their names, these terrorist groups basically have fucked up names. These people who have, there's a whole bunch of rebel forces. Obviously, what's going to happen first is they're all going to come into power and start fighting each other, just like we see throughout the Middle East, where strong dictators, presidents, whatever you want to call them, rule. I guess you're not turning because you didn't give a signal. People just don't know how to drive at all. So, anyway, so these rebel groups are going to be fighting each other, battling each other for power, ultimately. And the leading one is, surprisingly, a very extremist Islamic group, much like Hamas. As a matter of fact, they were associated formerly, but broke up from them with, I think it was either Al-Qaeda, ISIS, or one of those, or multiple of those types of Islamic groups. And the first thing they've come out and said is, we're not going to, now that we've taken power, we're not going to discriminate against other races. Why do you even say that if that's never been an issue before? Obviously, it has. So, Syria is fucked. Now, here's the thing about Bashar al-Assad. First of all, he was, maybe still is, I don't know, a medical doctor. Yes, that's right. Who went to school in England. He married his wife, went to school and has a PhD, or maybe even she may be a doctor herself, something like that. A blonde-headed woman from England who dresses like a normal person, doesn't wear a sheet over her head all the time. And if this offends any of you, I don't care. I just have a very low tolerance for the extreme Islam. I know a bunch of Muslims, and they are just not extreme. There are the extreme ones. So, back to my point. Bashar al-Assad was a medical doctor. He was educated. You know, there's lots of rumor that he imprisoned and tortured and blah, 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 even though there's no evidence of such. No proof. Even the UN Council tried to find it at one point years ago, couldn't find it, left it alone. The biggest thing that Bashar al-Assad was guilty of was not siding with the United States. He sold I think it was natural gas pipeline into Russia and sold natural gas to Russia. That pissed us off. Before that, we got along good with Syria. Syria was a huge tourist country, much like Turkey. You could, as an American, under Bashar al-Assad, you could go to Turkey or Syria freely, no escorts, no nothing. You could walk around, tour, leave, come and go. Syria was very liberal as far as Islam goes, very liberal. Even to this day with Bashar al-Assad, well, yesterday, whatever. But yeah, here's a man who was a medical doctor who there's no proof that he was committing atrocities. He's been fighting a civil war for decades now. His wife is clearly not your typical Islamic radical, and done a lot of good for people too. They just didn't side with the United States. That's my opinion. And so we started building up the propaganda, I believe. Yes, it is true. Iran and Hezbollah and Russia, of course, were allies with them. But we're allies with Saudi Arabia. In case you didn't know, they commit a whole lot more atrocities than probably Syria ever did. And they are very radical. But anyway, that's my opinion. I think Syria took a turn for the worst. Losing Bashar al-Assad was a huge mistake, an error. We should have sided with them, with the Assad government, and stayed out of it completely. But in national interest, So tomorrow, I'm sure we'll be fighting Syrian terrorists left and right, because that's what we do. We put people like the ones who are going to be taking over Syria now in power, or at least in this case support these radicals, so that we can fight them tomorrow. Hey, it's good money for Halliburton's and the Cheneys. Don't forget about those scumbags. But anyway, like, share, subscribe, stay safe and be safe. Tell me what you think.